A very good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. You're watching NTV at 1. My name is Zeynab Ismail. Now, members of the county assemblies will have to wait a bit longer before they get the coveted car grants promised by President Uhuru Kenyatta as a back and forth between government departments goes on. The Controller of Budget now says it is difficult to implement the grants now and that it would be better to seek guidance from the Salaries and Remuneration Commission on how to go about it. According to the Controller of Budget, there are many grey areas that continue to delay the grants. NTV's senior political affairs reporter Kennedy Mureithi has the details.
It will take some time before members of county assemblies can access the car grants promised by President Uhuru Kenyatta due to some legal complexities. NTV is in possession of a letter written to the Salaries and Remuneration Commission seeking guidance on how to go about it, thus delaying the process further. The SRC had given a nod to the grants, and so had other government departments, but the challenge is in how to exactly implement it. The letter by the Controller of Budget to the SRC seeks an advisory on how to implement conversion of the car loan facility into a car grant and requests to authorize withdrawals from the county revenue funds to finance the car grants. The Office of the Controller of Budget now says it has noted some challenges. And these are: most counties budgeted for a car loan facility and not a car grant. The car loan facility is being implemented through a legislation enacted to create a revolving fund. These legislations actually do not provide for issuance of any car grant. Number 3, some of the counties merged the car loan facility and the mortgage facility into one fund. And number 4, some counties are operating one mortgage and car loan fund for the staff and members of the county assembly. According to the Controller of Budget, it is becoming increasingly hard to effect the car grant immediately, as there are scenarios where MCAs and speakers have no access to the car loan facility, have accessed the facility and paid in full, have partially paid for the facility, and number 4, have accessed from the joint car and mortgage facility in the case of some counties. Some MCAs are reading mischief in the back and forth and believe it is a scheme to just hold on to their rights. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV.
Meanwhile, police in Merti in Isiolo County have taken 2 individuals into custody suspected of being part of a group allegedly planning to undertake an attack. The 2 suspects have been identified as Abdi Fatah Ibrahim and Yusuf Mohammed. And according to their Twitter account, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations say an AK-47 rifle, 128 rounds of ammunition and 200 grenades were seized last night. Police say the 2 were cornered and forced to surrender after an exchange of gunfire. The men were arrested and the firearm, 5 magazines, 9 magazine pouches and a military jungle belt were 2 mobile phones and several penknives found in their vehicle. A second vehicle got away. The arrested suspects are undergoing interrogation by the officers from the Bomb Disposal Unit and Anti-Terrorism Police Unit. Meanwhile, extracurricular activities may just prove to be the saving grace to salvage the destruction of schools witnessed in different parts of the country by suspected students. This is according to the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, who say these activities will help students blow off some steam.
When the reopening of schools was announced, President Uhuru Kenyatta banned extracurricular activities such as sports, arts and prize-giving days in a bid to curb the spread of the coronavirus. But it is these very activities that teachers argue was the outlet for many students when the pressure of their studies proved too much to bear. Teachers say that learners have turned to a different outlet of destroying school property to show the mental weight they are bearing.
There's also need to consider having at least 3 days half-term break because of this crash program, so that the students can ease off, because we all do not want to see continuous destruction of property.
KUPPET has also appealed for the improvement of guidance and counseling departments so as to manage stress levels among learners.
That destruction is never a solution to to any challenge. That whenever there's a challenge, it is important that they come and engage the authorities so that we come up with amicable solutions as opposed to destruction.
Meanwhile, in Vihiga County, Governor Wilbur Otichilo has urged students to seriously invest in matters of education in order to compete favorably with the rest of the world. Gena Kirori, NTV.
The Eldoret Catholic Diocese Bishop Dominic Kimengich has urged teachers not to pump too much information into students in a bid to recover the lost year, arguing that information overload could be part of the reasons for increased cases of unrest in schools. Kimengich said the rate at which students were going on rampage was worrying, hence the need for the school administrators to have a conversation with them. Speaking at Our Lady of Assumption Catholic Church in Eldoret during the fund day for the parish, Bishop Kimengich expressed concerns that some schools were going overboard in a bid to recover the lost academic year.
Tunaona sasa vile watoto wetu wanafanya shuleni, mashule zimechomwa, madarasa, dormitories na mambo kama haya. Ni vizuri pia tuangalie kwa sababu tumetoka kwenye mwaka wa 2020 na tulikuwa na mambo ya corona, watoto walikuwa nje, walikuwa nyumbani na sasa wamerudi. Kuna hiyo pressure ya kusukuma watoto wasome zaidi mpaka hata sasa ile inasema concentration yao inaenda chini sana. Wakisoma na hiyo pressure, when the teachers are pumping so much into the students in a bit to recover what they lost last year, ndio inaweza kutuletea shida kama hii.
Meanwhile, the Kenya Film Classification Board Chief Executive Officer Ezekiel Mutua has urged the Ministry of Education to consider making scouting mandatory in all schools to tame the escalating cases of indiscipline among learners. Speaking during the 164th celebrations to mark the Scouts Movement Founders Day, Mutua said the Scout movement could help address the challenges that are facing the youth today. He urged the government to formalize the scouting structure within the education sector to build up grit, discipline, diligence, service and patriotism among learners.
We need to have a structured way of bringing back discipline among our youth. Can we also make it compulsory that our youth or our young people, before they join university, they go to the NYS? The idea here is not to bring dictatorship. The idea is to have structured processes through which we can arrest the runaway issue of moral decay and the challenges that we are facing as a country. If we do not mold our kids when they are young, if we do not bring discipline through this structured system, like the scouting movement, through the schooling process, we are going to lose our country, because our kids are the biggest asset that this country has.
And 20 counties in the country have so far been affected by the second invasion of desert locusts. The Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, Peter Munya, has attributed the invasion to little effort by neighboring countries to fight the destructive pests. According to him, insecurity in Somalia and parts of Wajir and Mandera are slowing down control efforts. The CS assured farmers that the government is stepping up surveillance and is also seeking ways of boosting farmers who have been hit.
Assessment inafanywa ya kuweza kujua ni wakulima wangapi wameathirika, ni ekari ngapi zimeathirika, ndio pia tuende tutafute namna ya kuwasaidia hao wakulima. Sisi wakati ule mwingine tulinyunyuzia tukamaliza, lakini hatungemaliza za huko nje kwa sababu hatuna.
And over 2,800 households living around the Masai Mara Game Reserve will have to brace for hard moments as the relief food program they have been depending on since COVID-19 set in comes to an end. The households were among the worst hit when the restriction of movement was announced, And as the arrivals of tourists took a hit, a move that negatively affected the area that highly depended on tourism to earn a living. Conservancies like Nationalise stepped up to feed the families for the last 11 months to ensure temptations of hunting animals for food was kept away. Due to the adverse effects of COVID-19 and the ongoing lack of enough tourists, the program has been halted and the families will have to fend for themselves.
Wale wasungu wamekosekana, tumeteseka. Kukula ni shida, kufaa ni shida, hata mgonjwa akiwa mgonjwa kutibiwa ni shida. Sisi hatuwezi lima, kulima kwetu ni shida kwa sababu wanyama wa pori wanaharibu mashamba. Sisi tunategemea wasungu peke yao, hakuna kitu kingine.
The local tourists who are coming were not coming in sufficient numbers to sustain the support of livelihoods. The program has been life-saving, and it has also protected wildlife, because what would people do if they're not getting any food? Then probably they might end up poaching wildlife.
And on that note, let's take a quick break. We'll be back.
Use cables from a reputable manufacturer made from 99.99% pure copper and the best insulation. Use a certified installer. Scratch to verify and authenticate your cables. We manufacture an
The Ministry of Health would like to remind all Kenyans that coronavirus is still among us and that we must continue to adhere to all preventative measures to contain the spread of this deadly disease, including proper wearing of face masks.
Avoid wearing your mask under your nose, under your chin, because this doesn't protect you. The droplets can still land in the environment and things can still land on your nose and mouth.
Komesha Corona. Okoa Maisha.
Mhasibu Sacco Society Limited is a reputable Tier 1 Sacco for all professionals. We pride ourselves in business stability and growth, having been in existence for the last 35 years with an asset base of over 6 billion shillings and over 18,000 members spread across the world. All professionals should join us to benefit from competitive products, high qualifying credit, attractive returns, and services automation. Join us and attain your financial independence. Mhasibu Sacco, the Sacco for professionals.
Kenya Revenue Authority informs all digital platform owners and their subsidiaries that provide digital services and derive income from the digital marketplace in Kenya. From 1st January 2021, Kenya Revenue Authority informs you that you are liable for digital service tax applicable only to digital services and not goods traded online at the rate of 1.5% of the gross transaction value. To register and pay, log on to itax.kra.go.ke. For more information, visit www.kra.go.ke. Tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
What is family? Family is a solid foundation to build on and a strong pillar to lean on. It is believing in each one of us for the betterment of all of us. Family is working together today to win together tomorrow. It is creating opportunities for a lifetime of happiness. It is knowing we are valued, respected, understood, and most of all, supported. The future is bright because you can always bank on family. Family Bank. with you for life.
The magic beckons. From aquatic thrills to wild adventures, experience our latest additions to the magical Kenya Signature Experiences collection, filled with the most unique and authentic Kenyan travel experiences to cure your wanderlust. No matter where you choose to travel in this paradise we get to call home, you will be spoiled for choice and make memories that you'll cherish for a lifetime. Rediscover the magic.
Thank you for staying with us. You're watching NTV at 1. Now, Niger's election on Sunday was marred by the death of 7 local election workers whose vehicle struck a mine in the troubled Tillaberi region near Mali. The blast also injured 3 of the workers, who included the heads of polling stations. Niger has been struggling with jihadist insurgencies that have spilled over from Mali and Nigeria. Ballot counting began in the evening after polling stations closed. But the election result is not expected to be known for several days. Several foreign observer missions were also on hand, including from the Economic Community of West African States and the Francophone Organization of French-speaking countries. One voter, 29-year-old student Idrissa Gado, said that the next president must act against the rebels, as it is a great concern in the country. Meanwhile, 7 people on board a military aircraft have lost their lives in a crash near Nigeria's capital, Abuja. The Nigerian Air Force plane had reportedly had engine failure while on its way to Minna in the northern state of Niger to try to rescue 42 people who had been kidnapped. Onlookers say that the pilot struggled to turn to the runway before the craft exploded. The Chief of Air Staff has ordered an immediate investigation. And tens of thousands of anti-coup protesters rallied across Myanmar again, despite a clear threat from the junta that it was prepared to use lethal force to crush what it branded anarchy. The warning came after 3 demonstrators were shot dead over the weekend and after the funeral of a young woman who died from bullet wounds at an earlier rally. Massive street demonstrations have taken place since Myanmar's military staged a coup on February 1st and detained civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi, ending a decade-long experiment with democracy. A civil disobedience campaign has also since choked many government operations as well as businesses and banks, and the junta late Sunday gave its most ominous signal yet that its patience was nearing an end. But protesters on Monday were undeterred by the warning. Residents woke up to a heavy security presence, including police and military trucks on the roads and an embassy district barricaded. Meanwhile, the Chinese government says it is open to dialogue with the United States to solve problems that have led to strained relations between the 2 superpowers. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi says Beijing hopes that Joe Biden's administration will iron out the differences brought about by the previous administration during his 4-year tenure. Former President Donald Trump sought to have an adversarial approach to dealing with China, which proved to be largely counterproductive. Wang Yi also urged the U.S. to stop interfering in China's internal affairs in Taiwan, Xinjiang, Tibet and Hong Kong. He spoke during the opening ceremony of the Lanting Forum in Beijing, which aims to promote dialogue between the 2 nations.
We hope the US side will adjust its policies as soon as possible. Among others, remove the unreasonable tariffs on Chinese goods, lift its unilateral sanctions on Chinese companies and research and educational institutes, and abandon irrational suppression of China's technological progress so as to create necessary conditions for China-US cooperation.
Some sporting action now, and Simba FC beat Triumph FC 2-1 in the Embu County League opening match played at Moi Stadium in Embu. Abdul Njeru put Simba in front of the 9th minute from a free kick before Victor Ndigwa levelled for the Triumph in the 13th minute from the sport. Eli Munene scored the winning goal for Simba in the 16th minute through a penalty kick. Meanwhile, the centre referee Dennis Nyaga sent off Triumph's keeper John Jeru in the 69th minute for a reckless kick. The league resumed on Sunday after a long break due to coronavirus pandemic.
Ni ligi ambayo iko na timu 24 na kati ya hizo timu 24 tumezipool kwa pool mbili. Kuna timu kuna pool moja iko na timu 12 na timu pool hiyo nyingine iko na timu 13, na hizo pool zote mbili tunatarajia kwamba vijana wetu watajirusha ama watarudi kwa viwanja waweze kucheza, na tunatarajia kwamba zile timu ambazo zitakuwa za kwanza ine zitakutana pamoja ndiposa tuweze kuona zile timu zitakazo promote ama zitakazo kupandisha ngazi kwenda kucheza kiwango cha Division 1.
And Novak Djokovic demolished Russia's Daniil Medvedev in straight sets to win his 9th Australian Open title and extend his record-breaking reign at the Melbourne Park on Sunday. Djokovic overpowered the 4th seed, winning 7-5, 6-2, 6-2 to end the Russians' unbeaten run at 20 matches. In winning a 3rd straight Australian Open for the 2nd time, the sub claimed his 18th Grand Slam title to move within 2 of Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, who have 20 each, while denying Medvedev his first. The win reinforced Djokovic's status as world #1, where he will mark his 311th week when the new rankings come out today, surpassing Federer's record of 310. Medvedev will move to a career-high 3 in the rankings behind Nadal.
Nirvana for Novak is 9 Australian Open titles.
And to the English Premier League, where Manchester City extended their winning run in all competitions to 18 matches after a 1-0 victory at Arsenal on Sunday. Raheem Sterling's early header in the first half turned out to be the winning goal as Pep Guardiola's side restored their 10-point lead at the top of the Premier League table. The other highlight Sunday match saw Manchester United collecting their first Premier League victory in 3 games as Bruno Fernandes' penalty secured a 3-1 win over Newcastle at Old Trafford. Marcus Rashford broke the deadlock when he found the near post in the 30th minute, but Newcastle levelled after Alan Saint-Maxim's half volley flashed beyond David De Gea 6 minutes later. Dan James struck in the 57th minute to restore the advantage before Fernandes' penalty. With 15 minutes remaining settled matters. In today's league action, Brighton will play host to Crystal Palace in the only match of the day.
Here's Daniel James. James! What a week he's had. Daniel James fires into the nets and United lead again. Dan James makes it 2-1.
Great finish. Made absolutely no mistake with that.
Back to winning ways. Back to second place for Manchester United. All smiles in the end. United 3, Newcastle.
And Lionel Messi scored on his club record 506th La Liga appearance as Barcelona played a 1-1 draw against Cadiz at Camp Nou. Messi's first half penalty after Pedri was cancelled out by Alex Fernandez' last-minute penalty. Cadiz equaliser from their only shot on goal ended Barca's 7-match winning run in La Liga. Barca can now be overtaken in 3rd if Sevilla beat Osasuna on Monday. Barcelona could have moved to within 6 points of leaders Atletico Madrid if they had overcome Cadiz, who brought their 4-game losing run to an end with their late dramatics at the Nou Camp.
On target of the game to rescue a point for the Yellow Submarine, and as mentioned, the points were shared at the Camp Nou as it ended Barcelona 1, Cadiz 1.
And that's all we had lined up for you on NTV at 1. Thank you for joining us. My name is Zeynab Ismail. Good afternoon.